Hello guys, welcome to another Source Game Discussion. This is your host PushDustIn, and joining me today is Josh Nicholson from MyNintendoNews.
Hey.
And today we'll be talking about the rumored SNES Mini end. So, a couple days ago, Liam Robertson tweeted out that he heard that the SNES Mini was a thing. And then Tom Phillips followed up a day later on Eurogamer saying that he heard that the reason that the NES Mini was cancelled or ceased production was because the SNES Mini is coming. So, Josh, do you believe this rumor?
I think it certainly makes sense. I think Nintendo would certainly be sensible to release an SNES Mini, seeing as how popular the NES Mini was, and the obvious demand for it. I mean, whether people could get their hands on them or not, Nintendo knows that people wanted them.
Yeah, and I think it kind of like re-energized a lot of people into Nintendo. Like they kind of remembered the nostalgia.
I wonder what effect it had on the Switch's sales. People remembering what Nintendo is.
I was actually reading this really interesting article. I'm blanking on who wrote it, but they basically said that the Switch owes its success to the NES Mini.
That's definitely a fair argument, yeah.
Because it made people aware of Nintendo again.
Yeah, those people who stopped playing Nintendo games after the NES or the SNES, definitely. And you can see the sales drop off with the N64, can't you? So there's obviously a big amount of people who stopped after those two generations.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think if Nintendo were to release an SNES Mini, it would make perfect sense. I think there's a lot of demand for it, and I think people would certainly buy it up.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely would. I'd buy one as soon as I could, because I could never get my hands on an NES Mini.
See, I did get my hands on the Famicom Mini because I'm in Japan.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of an underwhelming system, to be honest.
I think people moaned about the features, didn't they? It's just the games and nothing else. But I think they could have
very bare bones.
Yeah, I'd like them to include something like NES Remix would be good. I think little challenges or something. That would be interesting.
But so, what do you think the SNES Mini could look like? Do you think it will have 30 games? Do you think it will have a lot less?
I kind of want to say it will have less than 30, but not too much less to avoid like negative comparisons. I could see about like 20 to 25. And like the Famicom Mini is a completely different design to the NES Mini, isn't it? So I could see them designing them region-based.
Yeah,
and then the SNES was different in Europe and the US, wasn't it? So I wonder if there'll be 3 versions rather than 2.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the buttons are different. I think the entire console's different, isn't it? Because the US one has has purple switches on it, whereas I think the UK one has black switches. So I'd be interested if they cater to Europe as well and do a third version of it.
I think they definitely would. A big part of the NES Mini and the big part of the Famicom Mini was the nostalgia factor.
Yeah, so if it doesn't look like how people remember, yeah.
Like I remember there was even a third-party box that they sold that made it look like the Famicom Disk System that you could put under your.
Oh really? I didn't know about that.
Famicom Mini in
cool.
Japan.
I like that.
Yeah, it was third party, so it wasn't officially Nintendo, but I even saw that sold out in the first couple days.
Yeah, I think everything to do with it sold out really quickly, didn't it? Anything even barely related. I remember seeing people buying just the poster that came with it on eBay for ridiculous amounts of money, let alone the actual system. Yeah,
it was definitely like a huge, big thing, because I remember even my mom talking about how she had to get it for my nephews.
Yeah, it was a big Christmas thing, and I feel like they really mucked up by not having it available. Like they could have made so much money off of it that I feel like they've just left now. It's interesting that they've decided to discontinue it. You think they'd want them to, if they are doing the SNES Mini, they'd run alongside of each other, but.
Yeah, I think the argument is that they need the production lines for the SNES Mini.
Yeah, that makes sense, I suppose. Yeah.
But maybe they would revisit it someday.
I could see them bringing it back as like the reintroduction of it. Especially seeing like all the prices, they're being driven up even more now, aren't they? Just because they know there's no more coming.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's like triple the price now.
Yeah.
So, going back onto the SNES Mini, what games do you think are going to be on the system if it is coming?
I mean, there's the obvious ones, like it will have Super Mario World and A Link to the Past and Super Metroid, and like I'd like to say Donkey Kong Country as well, but then wasn't that taken off the Virtual Console quite recently? or there was some kerfuffle with it.
I don't recall that.
Oh, maybe I'm imagining that, but there was yeah, I'd like to think Donkey Kong Country, probably Super Mario Kart, F-Zero. They're the big Nintendo ones, but I think the bigger questions are the third-party games that it's going to have on it.
Yeah.
And I think probably the original Mega Man X, seeing as Mega Man 2 was on the NES Mini, and then possibly a Final Fantasy. What do you think about a Final Fantasy getting on it?
I believe the Famicom Mini had a Final Fantasy on it, or some.
I think did it have Final Fantasy 1 or 2? So
yeah,
and then they're big titles for the SNES, so I could see them coming.
I'd like to definitely like to see Super Ghouls and Ghosts.
Oh yeah, that's an interesting one. Was the original Ghouls and Ghosts on the NES Mini?
No, but I think Capcom had several games on it.
Yeah, so I could see it coming, definitely.
Yeah.
I think what other developers were on it? Konami was on the original one, weren't they? So what? I'm blanking on what SNES games Konami would have.
Well, I guess Bomberman technically.
Oh yeah, Super Bomberman. Yeah, I could see that. And
Castlevania 4.
Castlevania. Yeah, that's probably an obvious one.
Yeah, I could definitely see them supporting it.
Yeah. Who's another developer that they could bring on board? I can't really think of any who would exclusively SNES who wouldn't have been on the NES.
I don't know. It gets tricky because I feel like there's like so many licensing issues with some certain games.
Yeah, definitely licensing problems. I wonder how much Rare would have to be involved to put Donkey Kong Country on it. I suppose Nintendo does own Donkey Kong Country completely, don't they? There's no question of it because it wasn't on Rare Replay. So there's no question of that. But
yeah, and it was, at least it was on the Virtual Console after Rare was sold.
Yeah, I think I might be wrong on that. I feel like it was always on the Virtual Console.
Maybe you're thinking about Donkey Kong 64 because I believe that came out pretty late on the Virtual Console.
Oh, maybe, yeah. Maybe there was problems with that one. I feel like Earthbound. That's an obvious one. I love Earthbound.
Yeah. I feel like if they just included Earthbound, it would automatically sell out.
Yeah, definitely.
Even faster.
Everyone would buy it up. And it's like it's already been on the Virtual Console, so there isn't that demand that there would have been 5 years ago for Earthbound. But I feel like still it would make it sell out.
I mean, like just if you buy the physical edition of Earthbound in the United States, it's insanely expensive.
Yeah. Everyone was expecting the Virtual Console release to drive down the price, weren't they? But it hasn't really.
No.
It's still keeping its price.
I think it's with games like that, with such dedicated fan bases, the prices aren't going to drop.
Yeah, I suppose it's just something to have in your collection, whether you've played the game or not. Yeah.
And plus, the US version of Earthbound had so many extras included in it.
Yeah, I suppose it came with all the manual and stuff, didn't it? And the guide.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder about Super Mario All-Stars. Could that come, or do you think
because that's like multiple games in one.
Yeah, I wonder, and all of those games are on the NES Mini, aren't they? So I'd wonder if they'd want to bring that over, because that's a game that never came to the Virtual Console. Probably because they still wanted to sell the NES versions of all of those games.
Yeah, they can make more money off of each individual game. Yeah. Same, going off that Kirby Superstar.
That's a game I could definitely see coming. Kirby.
Was that on the Virtual Console? Kirby Superstar.
Yeah, I think that's on the Virtual Console.
Okay, so maybe we'll see it.
And
then Yoshi's Island, of course.
Oh yeah, they've had trouble emulating that game, haven't they? I don't think the SNES. Yeah, the SNES version's never been released on the Virtual Console. It's only the Game Boy Advance version that they've re-released.
Huh.
I think that's the same problem they've had with the original Star Fox as well. That's never been released on Virtual Console. And I'd be interested to see if that could come, because they'd require all the extra chipsets, wouldn't they? Yeah,
is it the R chip?
Yeah, I think that's it, because it's in the cartridge, isn't it? It's not actually in the console. It's really clever.
So you have to emulate the actual cartridge and the console itself then.
So that might bring that one into question.
I mean, they have N64 expansion pack games on the Virtual Console.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Like Majora's Mask is definitely on there. Donkey Kong 64 is on there, and those are games that require the expansion pack, so they're extra hardware.
I just know they've never released Star Fox SNES on the Virtual Console, so I think that's why. That would probably be the reason, because I doubt there's any licensing issues with that game.
If there's the SNES Mini, then it's probably Nerd that's working on it, because Nerd worked on the NES Mini.
Yeah, and didn't they get them back for the Switch Virtual Console as well? Or that was the rumor recently.
That's the rumored, yeah.
Yeah, so I'd assume that they've still got a good relationship with Nintendo, and they really showed that they understand emulation with the NES Mini. That's been very highly praised, doesn't it?
It was a really good, solid emulation.
Yeah.
So I think if there's any organization or company or development team that could do it, I think it is Nerd.
Yeah, I feel like unless they've had some big falling out, which I don't see why they would have, they would be the obvious people to go to, wouldn't they? Do you think it will have the same production issues as the NES Mini?
I think so.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean, Nintendo hasn't instilled a lot of confidence with their meeting demands in the past year.
That's true. Yeah, the Switch has been, well, not equally bad, but still quite bad.
And then before that, you had the Amiibo and the NES Mini.
Yeah, I feel like they've turned Amiibo around, though, so it gives me some hope.
Yeah, part of the reason the Amiibo were so hard to find was because of that port strike. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, I remember about that, yeah.
Yeah, that actually delayed a lot of Amiibo shipments. And I also think Nintendo was kind of caught off guard about how popular Amiibo were.
Yeah, I suppose an NES Mini is much harder to produce than an Amiibo as well, so... I wonder if they're worried about it hurting Virtual Console.
Yeah, because I could see them releasing the NES Mini because they didn't really have a system with Virtual Console to kind of replace it.
Yeah, there was nothing at the time, was there?
Yeah, there's nothing to compete with it.
Out, and then the Switch hasn't got its Virtual Console yet.
We're still waiting to hear on the Switch's Virtual Console.
Yeah,
Nintendo has been strangely quiet about it.
Maybe it's a sign that it's not coming as soon as we think it is, because I've heard a lot of people saying that they think E3 is probably the time when Virtual Console's coming, but...
Yeah, because I remember with the last Nintendo Direct, everyone was saying, oh, they're going to really announce the Virtual Console, they're going to announce the Virtual Console. And
that was the big thing, wasn't it?
Came and went, and no Virtual Console. And I think before that, Reggie said that we would hear about it before the Switch was announced, or before the Switch was released. And we didn't hear anything, so... It's a little suspicious.
So maybe they've worked out that this is the way to make money off Virtual Console games. maybe a few sell, but then the rest don't. Maybe they can sell 30 games instead of 5. Like Link to the Past always sells, but would some of the other games on the NES Mini be able to sell on their own?
Yeah. Well, with the Switch, we do know that eventually the Virtual Console is going to come, and that it will be updated to include online multiplayer in some cases.
Oh yeah, that was going to come with the paid online, wasn't it? I forgot about that.
Yeah, we're definitely going to get it before fall. So I feel like E3 is like almost the last time to announce it. I mean, I guess they could announce it in the summer because they usually do have a summer direct.
Do you feel like a Virtual Console's a big enough announcement for E3? I feel like while Nintendo fans are really into it, I feel like the general public aren't that impressed by Virtual Console being announced.
Well, I mean, the last couple of E3s for Nintendo weren't that good.
No, definitely true. Yeah, last year was only good because of Breath of the Wild, and the year before that, quite dire. Yeah.
But I think having Virtual Console, I don't think it's the only announcement that Nintendo has.
No,
I think
definitely not.
Nintendo has quite a bit up their sleeves because while they did show a lot at the presentation, it was pretty 3DS focused.
Shockingly 3DS focused, really, wasn't it? It was a good half of it was spent on what I consider to be a dead console, but they're keeping it alive, it seems.
Yeah, I think it makes sense to keep the 3DS alive for another year or 2 years.
Yeah, to keep it in the background.
Yeah, because a lot of people still have 3DSs.
Yeah, I suppose it would be silly to ignore the install base. It's the biggest install base they've got going at the moment.
Hmm. I mean, the Switch is catching up, but it's gonna take a
Yeah,
while.
yeah. I'd like it to catch up, but it's going to take a bit, isn't it, to reach 3DS levels?
Because that's why they're releasing like Fire Emblem Warriors, I think, on the 3DS and the Switch.
Yeah, that's a very odd choice. I'm worried
Yeah.
that might hold Fire Emblem Warriors back,
I
also
don't-
being released on 3DS.
I don't think so, because Koei Tecmo they did a great job with Hyrule Warriors.
That's true. Yeah, and
And
the 3DS version isn't like incredibly well received, but it works, doesn't it?
I mean, I wish the 3DS version was on the Wii U.
Yeah,
Just
yeah. So do
because
I.
The improvements that they made in the 3DS version were actually really good improvements.
Yeah, it was just the system that held it back, wasn't it? Frame rate issues and things.
Yeah, and if you played on the new 3DS, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah, I did hear that. Everyone said, "Oh, if you're gonna play this, make sure you've got a new 3DS."
Yeah, I never played it on the normal 3DS, so
Oh,
I don't
see,
know.
I only played it on the normal 3DS, so I didn't have a great experience.
Yeah. Anyway, so SNES Mini, do you think it's likely? If so,
Yeah, I could definitely see it. Yeah.
when do you think it's gonna come out then? Because like Nintendo has a pretty solid lineup for the up until summer, I think.
Yeah, when in the year did the NES Mini release? Was it? It was just before Christmas.
Yeah, it's
wasn't
like November, I believe.
it? Yeah, so that's when I would peg Super Mario Odyssey, and would they want to go up against themselves
Yeah.
for that kind of thing?
Mhm.
So, like, Christmas release does seem the cleverest time to release that kind of thing. It's the perfect kind of Christmassy gift, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a stocking stuffer.
Yeah. I mean, Nintendo has released multiple things in November before. Like, lots of games have come out back to back. Like Mario Kart 7 and Skyward Sword came out on the same day. I know that was years ago, but
Yeah.
that's
But
the
I feel
thing
like
that comes to mind.
those games are like so different that they kind of complement each other.
Yeah, and I wonder if the SNES Mini complements Super Mario Odyssey as well. They're very different things. One's
Yeah.
Nintendo moving forward, one's it looking back.
But the issue is that we have so many rumored games right now. Like we have Pokemon Stars, which has been rumored to come out this year.
Yeah, and that would come out in November as well if it was this year,
Yeah.
wouldn't it?
And then we have the rumored Smash Brothers.
Yeah,
So it's like
it's
they
really
have
difficult,
like
isn't it? Yeah.
they have a lot of stuff that's rumored that they have announced, and we don't know what's gonna come out. Maybe
I suppose they could
something
slot
else
it
will
in
come out.
like September time.
Yeah.
Because when Splatoon 2's is it July?
It's
and
July, I
Arms is
believe.
June.
Yep.
So they've got a bit of a gap then in like the autumn.
Yeah, like August, September, I believe.
Yeah, but then I suppose isn't Fire Emblem Warriors is vaguely autumn
Yeah.
time, isn't it? So the whole year seems full. You're right. I didn't really consider that, but yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Almost makes me think they'll announce it nearer the end of the year for the following year, but then would the rumors wouldn't really be about yet if it was that far in the future.
Yeah, if it already started production.
Yeah. So that doesn't really seem like an option either. When do you think it would be released?
It would have to be like September or October. There's
Yeah.
just no other way.
I think they want. I think they'd really want it for a Christmas release. That seems the ideal time, and that's when the NES Mini kind of thrived.
Hmm.
So, I think I'd say maybe the same day as Super Mario Odyssey in November, like just before Black Friday, is
Yeah.
the kind of time I'd peg it. But then you're right, it does seem very full about then.
I guess it really just depends on if the other rumors are true. Because I feel like something can't be true if they have this much
Yeah,
stuff.
there are a ridiculous amount of Switch rumors at the moment, aren't they? Everything is coming to the Switch this year apparently, but
I mean, like Nintendo did have a drought year in 2017, so they would have enough content for the Switch.
yeah, that was what everyone was saying at the time, wasn't it? There's no games coming this year, but hopefully that means they're all working on Switch games.
I know. I think
And that,
Nintendo outright
I feel like
said
that was true. Yeah, they did say that 2016 was a year of like transition, didn't they? So hopefully that will happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does leave the SNES Mini in a difficult position.
Like Nintendo's just gonna compete with itself for.
Yeah, maybe that isn't such a bad thing. I mean, They had so little release last year. Just have a blowout this year of everything.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think this about wraps up our discussion. Do you have any final thoughts before?
Definitely pre-order them when they're announced. Pre-order it as soon as you can. That's my suggestion.
Speaking of pre-ordering, I almost regret this. I didn't pre-order the Link amiibo that they announced, and I just went on Amazon, and they're already double the price in Japan.
Oh, really? That's terrible. Yeah, I was gonna get the Twilight Princess one, but I suppose if that's the case, I won't be getting it just yet.
I'm hoping that I can still pick it up locally, like on that day that they come out, because it's
yeah, there'll definitely be some store ones, won't there? You can just go in and grab.
So I'm hoping I'll be okay with that, but it makes me a little anxious because Zelda amiibo are ridiculously priced right now.
Yeah, I was looking into getting the Guardian one just because it's so cool looking, but I just can't get one for anywhere near a reasonable price.
Yeah, the original Link from the Super Smash Bros. Amiibo, that's about $100 right now.
Really? I would consider that a common one as well. That's terrible.
Something like that. It's like Sheik is also ridiculously expensive.
Do they work specifically with Breath of the Wild? Do they do something specific? The Smash Brothers ones.
So the Link from Smash Brothers, he gives you Epona.
Oh, really? That's a good get. I knew one of them gave you Epona, but I didn't know it was the Smash Brothers one.
He gives you Epona as soon as you're off the Great Plateau.
Oh, that's great.
Spawn Epona the first time. Or if you kill Epona like I did by accident, it'll take a couple times, but Epona will eventually come back.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. I decided not to collect all of the amiibo, but I decided to just focus on the Zelda amiibo, and then they announced the 3 new Link ones, and I was like, fuck, more Links.
Yeah, there's so many characters that they could do, and they've done Link 100 times now.
Yeah.
Every single version of Link. And how many? There's like 3 Zeldas at the moment, is there?
Yeah, there's 3 Zeldas. And then, let's see, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Links, I think.
That's incredible.
The 3 other ones, so 9. 8 or 9 Links.
There's so many characters they could do. They could do Navi or Midna.
They could have done Skull Kid from Majora's Mask.
Oh yeah, that would be a good one. They did like a Skull Kid figurine when Majora's Mask came out, didn't they? But no amiibo.
Yeah, they didn't. They couldn't figure out what amiibo function they would add.
So is that why they didn't do one? That's a good reason not to do it, I suppose. If you can't think of a reasonable thing for him to do, don't announce one. But
yeah,
I'd like a Skull Kid amiibo, whether he did something or not.
Yeah, why Nintendo? More Links.
I was quite shocked when they announced more, because there was rumors that the more were coming, weren't there?
Yeah,
because there's more costumes in Breath of the Wild. Yeah. It's shocking how many Link amiibos they could possibly release.
Yeah. Or like, Oni Link or something.
Yeah. I just love to see more characters.
Yeah. Something different. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, so Josh, where can people find you?
So you can find me writing on MyNintendoNews, a couple of articles every day, and you can follow me on Twitter at Nicolson.
Okay.
Jicholson.
Okay, and we'll definitely include a link in the description below.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I'm PushDustIn. You can follow me at PushDustIn, or you can follow this channel to listen to more discussions and videos on all kinds of things. And I hope you guys have a great day on all kinds of things.